The fact that the licky chops perverts in Seattle, Pittsburgh, and UW dialectical have not been satisfied in their bloodthirst, even after their COVID bomb weapon murdered many of them elderly people, more of our people than all the wars we fought and combined, more than World War II, more than Vietnam, more than Civil War, apparently, all added up. And they're still going strong in defense of the people who released AIDS. So, ideology in the hands of perverts is foundationally irrational and it's evidence shy. It, evidence is always inadmissible. What they're doing is more of the so-called cleansing agent stuff that we heard about from the Green Party in the first attack. COVID is cleansing us. We're getting cleansed, because we're moral inferiors to the almighty decrees of the Burmese Trumpy tune Putins. And there's ways of establishing this that involve facts. Like, surely you don't believe that the Federal Bureau of Investigation hasn't established by now who Alpina really was. She was working with the Israelis through Mellon Bank and Pitt, who were notorious gangsters. Nava Edelstein, she named herself after the girlfriend of the man who shot the prime minister of Israel, Nava, she calls herself, because she likes, the Hilltop gang in Israel who murdered the prime minister of Israel. And she, was one of the people who was involved in framing me for armed robbery after I got home from the governor's school. It's if I didn't have trouble enough. And Shulman, the museum thief, working with one of Trumpy Tune's speechwriters, Adam Eisenstadt. Israeli India network down there on Caliban Row with mandala books. Don't you hear mandala and you see the sacred, the African swastika, right? But it's white people, But you see the with the lucky chops of the NAACP, Clarence Thomas and those guys who like the trophy brides, they see it as dishonoring the black man that an Indian woman seduced the setup. And of course, the FBI knows all this and gets a laugh out of it because they have their heels up on their desk and they're just partying hard with the Donald Trump gets a foreign woman is beck and call with a snap. Yeah, but they literally encrypted this pussy ball machine and French fascist films like Diva, and the telltale clip shows you the perverted logic of the Green Party, the trophy Japanese for the black man. And this is the sort of mentality that is endemic in the voodoo establishment of UW's Trumpy turned Putinese, who used ghoulishly poison me in the mouth and stuff. Somebody who's deaf, who's been given diabetes by abuse, they poison again. I mean, this is Jay Inslee's style book, and UW, and of course Pittsburgh has always done this. They're the sickening perverts. But although it's like a twist out of Kurt Vonnegut's Mother Night, if you don't know what that is, it's a sadly dark, sardonic story by a man who's noted for his comedies about the pervert logic of racism. Whoever told you that the Chinese was yellow, says or the Japanese was yellow or colored. It's like this weird mentality that he establishes. And of course, it's straight for the Book of Mother Night. The idea that swastikas are sacred, the African symbols, and that the Japanese woman is coded for the sacred, the African black man, in the turnaround system that decolonizes the mind on behalf of India and Israel because of a one night stand that's organized by a Chinese woman from Disney named Ming-Na Wen, working with reckless drivers at Kelly Elementary School to promote Goebbels on Mount Desert Island, who is sacred, the honorary, the black man, which is the gobbledygook that you get from a whole host of people who come forward to justify what they've done. The city of Seattle, for years and years and years, all of them banged on that this must be done, this must be done, on those grounds, following that logic. Okay, because the Croco Gorgono, Vyoko Ono, said whoosh to the queer bait. He was not tortured. He was infinitely mercied for the colonial act of Hiroshima. And then the Navy demands that he apologize to the Japanese sacred widow of Yasukuni Shrine, who just happened to have installed Ace Frehley's favorite record player as a trophy horn over the black man's triumph over the Japanese symbol of faith in the Russian Orthodox Church. You see, this is the mind at work of UW Dialectical. And if you like Schwarzenegger, he's amazing. He says, connect the dots. Connect the dots doesn't mean his father was a Nazi. He knows that. Everybody knows that. You don't need to connect that dot. We know, we call him the exterminator. The exterminator, that's not a dot we need to connect. The connect the dots that he's talking about is the honorary, the black man from Israel and India who sacredly worships this African swastika, for the Licky Chops pornographer who did not really torture and hold hostage for WQED, the white little boy who thought he was all big. See how it works? They connect the dots. Uh-huh. So Goebbels is the JDL representing the black man on Mount Desert Island. There's no contradiction. It's not a contradiction. It's called connecting the dots. You see, Shulman didn't steal the museum books. He repossessed them for higher order of victims, which of course is the Ayn Rand Society around Trumpington, because all property belongs to the oligarchs. Those were yachts that had been taken by the communist spies of Carnegie Museum, who were so good as to give them back to Putin and Trump. This is what connecting the dots means. And so you get a little gold star on your forehead when you connect the dots. You see, Goebbels was the sacred, the honorary, the JDL defender of the NAACP's dibs call on the Japanese symbol of life. And this calms the ancestors in Africa when they discover that a white could have saved an even bigger white. And so, therefore, all of the floating uteruses can calm down about John Lennon because Moon Unit's going to stick the queer bait in the ass with the HIV virus, and that will when you connect the dots. Get this: the COVID-19 victims were who were who were allowed to die because of the refusal to investigate the Mount Poison and Mount Desert Island will then be spiritually modified, and the sacred of the African ancestors will play music, Beatles music, for them in heaven. You see? So all you have to do is connect the dots. It's perfectly reasonable and logical. Why should they settle down? Why shouldn't they be more bloodthirsty than ever before? They should be what they should be free to do anything that they please. Because why? Because when you connect the dots, they are a higher order of UW dialectical reasoning that you can only identify as sacred and ineffable by cranking the old vitriola and listening to Let It Be. You see, oh my, it's Ashiata Shimish. Don't fool yourself. The FBI have their feet up on the desk and they're laughing their asses off. That's what's going on. So you should join in when you hear that your grannies were kicked out. Laugh your asses off with the FBI. Your grannies was kicked out. That's some funny stuff, wasn't it? Yes, indeed. Connect the dots for Arnold. Mm-hmm.